So, you might have heard how volcanoes create much more carbon emissions than humans, huh? Oh boy, am I gonna burst some bubbles today. First, I'm going to compare these two sources so you can see which one beats the other, then talk about the person who started all of this mess, and then even talk about how volcanoes can actually have a cooling effect on Earth at the end of this video. With a simple Google search, you can find the data on both human and volcano carbon emissions. Volcanoes on average pump a massive amount of 260 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year. That's it, boys and gals. Human carbon emissions pale in comparison to eruptions. Not. Actually, humans emit 36 billion, not million, 36 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year. That is 150 times more than volcanoes. They don't seem to compete with human levels at all. But this raises another question. If it's so obvious and the data is so easily obtainable, then why are there people who still believe the nonsense that volcanic eruptions make more carbon emissions than humans? The reason seems to be this man, Ian Plimer. He has mentioned this in his book Heaven Plus Earth, where his source for this claim was basically, trust me bro. No, honestly, he did not cite any sources and just made this claim out of thin air. He seems to have some other wildly inaccurate claims as well that are laughable to anyone who didn't fail 4th grade. For example, he has another claim that there are no carbon emissions. If there were, we could not see because most carbon is black. Just let that sink in for a moment. You know what? Don't think about it. Spare yourself the headache and just like this video instead. Honestly, explaining this is so way below my pay grade. And I don't even get paid. But anyways, first of all, we burn fossil fuels every day. You would think that the carbon from that doesn't just disappear and it ends up somewhere. Secondly, we precisely measure it all the time, so we know that there is carbon emissions. The carbon dioxide that is caused by fossil fuels even has a specific isotopic signature, and we can detect it if it's produced by the burning of fossil fuels. Thirdly, carbon is colorless. It is the formation of it that determines the color, like carbon as graphite or carbon as diamond. Also, here are some compounds of carbon, for example, that are not black as well. Copper carbonate, which is green, calcium carbonate, which is white, and carbon dioxide, which is colorless. The worst part about all of this is that the guy is a university professor in mining, and he definitely knows this stuff, which means he's either knowingly spreading misinformation or his mining degree is from the University of Minecraft. I'm not going to go further into this guy's history because honestly, it's not worth it. And as for volcanoes' cooling effect on Earth, the process of a volcanic eruption sends a huge amount of things into the atmosphere. One of those things is sulfur dioxide that mixes with airborne water vapor and creates aerosols that reflect sunlight, thus decreasing the amount of heat that Earth receives, which leads to a decrease in temperatures. Now, volcanoes do produce amounts of carbon dioxide, but the warming effect of that is so small. In fact, one of the biggest recent volcanoes, the Pinatubo eruption in 1991, caused the temperature of Earth to fall by 1 degree Fahrenheit for 2 years. However, there is a certain type of volcanoes that does contribute to global warming, but I'm probably gonna include those ones in another video. If you don't want to miss that video and the rest of my content, then smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell.